Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194 and appreciate you stopping by to check out my video. And we are here at Mount Panorama, just doing an update on the setup. And I haven't been here so long, and it seems like forever since I've had a race here or been here. So I just had the inkling to go take some laps, and especially in the Bentley. It's such a great car, and I don't hardly ever drive it. So, and the update's old, or the setup is old. I'm saying the setup is old, so I wanted to do that. Plus, also, before we get started, I purchased a Creative Sound Blaster X3 DAC and amp, and also the Sennheiser P37X headset. So I'm testing that also just to make sure the sound is okay. So please, any comment or feedback would be appreciated. If it's okay or needs to be improved or adjusted, I've been messing with it, trying to get the balance okay as far as between the sound from me and the sound from the from ACC. So then that's between the, like I said, the headset and the DAC amp. So let's get this started. We're just going to do a couple laps. So it'll be real quick, and I'll show the setup. So let's get this going. Of course, I want to, this is a race setup. You can see the fuel's got 58 liters. So I started with 62. Trying to put a little more fuel in them just because, and anybody wants to do multiplayer, usually you're going to have a little more fuel in them. Amazing how, great that car. It just looks great for a bigger car. It just, man, I wish they'd make a model of this thing. One Bathurst, I'm hoping that Spark or that company can come out with the model for it. I'd love to get this thing. Love the way this car looks. It's a 203.90 was that lap. Of course, I went a little wide there in turn one, so that actually hurt me a little bit. One of the best looking tracks. This place is just awesome looking. love the color scheme too on that Bentley. That looks awesome. That's a 203.72. So I think it's, I went wide again there, or even wider. Let's look at the setup. So that's, and of course, obviously there's no drafting. So, I mean, in a race, if you were drafting, I mean, you could drop that even dramatically. So, I mean, that's not bad for almost having, you know, for me, especially in the Bentley and at Mount Panorama, for having, 50-something liters of fuel. I think it's a solid, solid race setup. The tires are left front 27.2, left rear is 27, right front is 26.7, and so is the right rear. The toe is negative 0.05 on the front, and the camber is negative 3.6, with the caster at 14. The toe on the rear is 0.1, and the camber is negative 2.6 on the rear. Electronics are 4 and 5. Fuel, I had 62 liters with the number 1 brake pad. Mechanical, I got 6 on the anti-roll bar, 61 on the brake bias, and that's an important thing because to me, one of the weakest things about the Bentley is stopping, and you want to get as much brake involved as far as trying to slow it down. And I really improved, I think, from the other setup, the old setup, as far as braking distance, and so it's really decent now compared to what it was. And the wheel rate on the front is 160,000 on the front, or springs, and the bump stop rate is 1200, and the bump stop range is 0. And on the rear, the wheel rate is 150,000 with a bump stop rate of 700 and a bump stop range of 6. The anti-roll bar on the back is 4 with the preload on the diff at 120. Dampers or shock absorbers on the front are 15, 14, 20, and 25, and on the rear it's 18, 15, 24, and 23. Aero, I have 55 ride height in the front and 70 in the rear, with a 6 rear wing and a 3 and a 2 in the brake ducts, and the front aero variation is negative 4.3. So I just wanted to show that, and let's look and see what it does if you only have 10 liters of fuel in it. Okay, so with 10 liters of fuel, you actually gets a little more, just a little bit, by a couple tenths, it actually loses. So that means you're going to have more, it's going to rotate a little bit more. So it's going to probably, it's not going to understeer, it's going to go the other way. So it's pretty balanced this way. So it shouldn't get, it shouldn't get too loose as far as when you start burning the fuel way down. So that's very, just decently balanced. Nothing drastic one way or the other. So I sure hope that you enjoyed the video, and I sure hope that the setup works okay for you. And please, any comments or feedback, it is greatly appreciated on the sound, if anything with that, or the setup. And I sure appreciate it, and I sure hope you come back and visit soon. Y'all